how to make hobnobs at some point, right? This is an impromptu. We didn't plan it, and I don't even know if you've looked for me or you can find me. I should be flashing up on all of your little computers and phones and things. It should say Rosemary Live. Hopefully it'll say Rosemary Live in the kitchen. Right, here we are making hobnobs, and this is a very quick, very easy, very simple recipe. I'm going to take the camera off of me to all of the ingredients. I'm going to be talking you through the ingredients, what you have to do, how you do it, and I'm going to show you the little trick I have of making them nice and round and easy. So, okay, so first of all, I'm going to turn the camera so that we can see all of these ingredients. So bear with me just for a second here. Just remember we are live, and I think we have it. There we have it. Yeah. Okay. So we have, yeah, I can see. We've got butter and sugar, which my friend Chris, who happens to be here right now, has creamed to a nice smooth, it's almost like a paste. In there, you'll see I've got some honey. So I thought I'd just show you that. I'm going to mix together the sugar and the honey. Well, it's usually it's syrup, but I ran out. I didn't realize I'd run out. So honey's just as good. So we've got butter, sugar, and syrup, and it's brown cane sugar. Now in these two little containers here, I'm hoping you can see I've got some whole wheat flour. In this whole wheat flour, there's 4 ounces of whole wheat flour, and in there there's 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. There we have them right there, so you can see them. And I've mixed some of these oats. Now these are oats, but they don't look like oats, do they? Because I have this little trick up my sleeve. So what I don't know if you can see, I'm going to sort of sprinkle them. That's how fine you need to grind them. And I do have a processor, and I do grind my oats, yes, till they're nice and fine, but they're still gritty. And that is the secret of a true hobnob. Right, so I'm going to mix the flour carefully.
And Rosemary, when you're talking about flour, is this gluten-free?
Well, the oats are gluten-free, as we know, but the flour, no, it's whole wheat flour. And you can get, I do believe, if you go into a good store, you can find gluten-free flour. I've never used gluten-free flour myself, so I've no idea what it's like. So I'm going to just put a few oats in there as well. And we're just going to incorporate the whole thing all together. We're going to mix it all together, and it's a very simple process. Now, if you find that it gets to be too dry, just add a bit more syrup to it. I use golden syrup, which is a very British thing. You can get it on Amazon quite easily if you find that you're struggling. Or you can use maple syrup, or any kind of sweet syrup. This is coming together very, very nicely. And just remember my baking powder and my soda's in here as well. If you don't want to put more flour in because you don't want it to be that sweet or too sweet, you can always add a little tiny drop of warm water. But I'll show you the consistency that we're looking for as soon as we've done this.
So Rosemary, you've got quite a few people watching you right now.
All right. Well, good thing we've got you then, Chris, right? So I'm going to be mixing this. I'm going to lift it up so you can see my pretty face. There you go, everybody. I'm going to keep mixing this. Chris, why don't you get to the comments and things?
All right, Janet's on. She's saying good morning, Rosemary.
Good morning, Janet.
Francesca saying buenas Sarah.
Buenas Aires, yes.
Okay,
good morning.
Go.
Buonasera to you too, which means I think hello.
Jude saying good morning, Rosemary.
Oh, Jude, hey, how are you doing?
And then Bright Star is asking about how cachorro is.
Well, that was as soon as we started. I'm going to show you what I do with this once it becomes into a nice sort of lovely dough. You want it to be soft, but not sloppy, this dough. And you want it to be, I think I'm going to have to get my hands in here. I hate getting my hands into dough. It's one of my things. I get, when I get dough in my fingernails, I feel all claustrophobic. Very weird.
We'll hose you down afterwards.
But there we are. You know what I think I'm going to do? Maybe put a tiny drop more honey in here, if you can get it in that corner cupboard there. It's so, do you know, it's so nice having somebody, having a sous chef in the kitchen, someone who does all the cleaning, all the fetching and the carrying, and also, you know, all of the cleaning up as well. So, all right. So while I'm doing this, Cachorro went for surgery yesterday. It was a very long surgery, and there was a bit of hesitation. I'm going to get my knuckles in. There's a bit of hesitation because he's 14 years old, so we were a bit unsure about how he would do with the anesthetic. Now I've got my knuckles in there, look, so I'm going to show you like that. So I've got my knuckles in and I'm squeezing it together, so I'm not adding any more honey at all. So it's about 1.5 ounces liquid. Shall I do this again? It's 1.5 fluid ounces of honey, and or golden syrup, as I prefer. And those of you, hey, Jude, you know all about golden syrup. I saw a recipe somewhere as to how to make your own golden syrup, because you can't buy it in this country. You have to order it specially. Now look, it's a nice doughy ball, soft, but sort of gritty, just as we like it. Let's throw that back in the bowl. Let's move all of this stuff. Chris, I'm afraid.
Maggie wants to know if a hobnob is a cookie or a flat cake.
Well, I'm going to show you. It's not a flat cake and it's not an oat cake. Even though we do use oats, I'm going to give you that. You can put it somewhere. I'm not going to tell her where to put it, but put it somewhere. Now, because I am a baker, I'm going to take the camera off of me again. I'm going to show you my baking tray, right? Which is probably bigger than most of you will have, right? But you know, I've lined it with parchment paper, and I'm not sure. Let's put it back up on here a little bit so you can see. We're having to jiggle about. I think you can see now. Yeah, you can see mostly. Right, let's. Chris, you could always tip that, because a little cutter with straight edges. I think it's 1.5 inches. So we put that on there. We're not going to roll it. No, we are not. We're going to get a little melon scoop. And I'm going to get a little scoop of this. Press it down a little bit. Don't know how well you can see me doing that. Then I'm going to put it into the thing like this. Can they see what I'm doing,
They can.
Chris? I'm going to use my fingers and I'm just going to smooth it out. Of course, it doesn't help that we're on a wobbly table, but still. So I'm going to sort of kind of smooth it flat-ish inside, and then I'm going to lift that out. Just push it out with my fingers, and there you have a perfect round like that. I'll do 1 or 2 more so you can see. Now, some of you will not have this size baking tray, so you might have to do 2 batches. The oven is already heated to 300 degrees. We're going to cook these little babies for about 10 minutes. Now, it depends on your oven. Some of you will need a 10 minutes and some of you will need there we go. Some of you will need a 10 minutes and some of you will need 12 minutes. But they'll sort of turn like a nice golden brown color. Yes, I do have some that you'll be able to see. But can you see how nice and round and straight they are? And I'm probably going to get out of this recipe. So let me tell you again what it is. But it is on Facebook. So the recipe is 4 ounces. Believe you me, I have struggled with this recipe. It took me 5 times to get what I consider to be the perfect hobnob. And I've looked at all sorts of different recipes. None of them suited me at all. So I figured out my own. And one of the secrets is to grind your oats. Can I just have that carton with the oats. I'm just using regular old-fashioned oats, not steel oats. Do not use steel oats. Do not use quick ready bread or quick cooking oats or anything like that either. Now you notice that I'm leaving a space between them because they will spread. And let's see. So back to Kachoro. While I'm doing this, he came through his surgery. He was at the vet's. I took him in at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he finally came home at 6 at night. And he was sleeping he slept well the most of the night. He's been sleeping on and off this morning. The difficulty is giving him his pills because he's got all sorts of different pills to take, and I have to make sure that he takes them, his antibiotics and that sort of thing. So can you see what I'm doing here with this? Oops, I don't need that. So I'm just going to do this row, and then I'm going to show you what they look like, because I did, yes, I love saying this. It makes me feel like I'm a professional chef, on the telly when they say, and earlier I made some, and this is what they look like. Of course, my totally British accent comes out. Did you notice that, Chris?
Just a tad.
And here are some I made earlier, which is kind of a fun thing to say. So can you see that, Chris? See how easy it is? Because the dough is nice and soft. You've got nice, round, sharp edges. Okay, so let me do one more while Chris is holding the camera down. And then I'll tell you a bit more about Kachoro, and then I'm going to show you the hobnobs. Chris and I are hobnobbing, aren't we?
Absolutely.
We're hobnobbing, which is a posh way of saying we're socializing. I'm hobnobbing with the best of them, with the wealthy. That's a British saying. Have you ever heard that saying, Chris?
I have.
Oh, I'm hobnobbing with the knobs, it means, basically. The knobs being those, those stuck-up people. People like me. People think I'm stuck up too. So there we have it. And you can see this is a good little trick, because it means that you really can make a nice looking cookie. So let's put those to the side. Let's have the camera right back up on me here. I've got sticky fingers. Just tilt it. Perfect. Keep going up a little bit more. There we are. Now, so here we go. And, oh, look. Chris, we're hobnobbing. We really, really are hobnobbing. And here's the finished product. I'm going to tilt the plate so you can see. Oh, sorry. There you go. There you go. Look at those. That's a hobnob right there. Now, not sure if we'll be able to crack it and you'll hear the crack, but I'm going to have a go. Yes. Did you hear that crack?
Very nice and crisp.
Half for you. Oh, the bigger half for me.
As all good cooks should have.
What do you think, Chris?
They're delicious.
They really are.
Maggie wants to know if you put the rack in the middle of the oven.
Middle of the oven, Maggie. 350 degrees. I'm using an electric oven. Excuse me, I'm eating. Oh, these are so good. They taste just like the packet hobnobs. Probably better, I would say. And a quarter of the price, I might tell you. And look, it took me, 5-10 minutes to make all of this?
Maggie wants to know, can you make bars out of the dough?
Well, you could actually put the whole thing into a small pan. If you do that, they need to be, whatever this thickness is, I don't know.
Quarter inch
thick. And bake that. You can sort of cut them into squares, I suppose. I don't know. Don't ask me. How do I know? I'm making hobnobs. Hobnobs are round. If you want to make hobnob squares, have a go at it. Again, you can get, I'm pretty sure you can get gluten-free whole wheat flour if you are inclined to do so. I cannot tell you whether it's good or bad. I've no idea. I haven't a clue.
Johan is hoping you can send him one.
Sorry. Oh, Johan, you know what's going to happen to these that are left? Huh? Not going to happen to these that are left. I'm sorry, but I've got Chris and her husband here. They're so greedy.
Janet's saying, do you ever frost them or are they plenty sweet?
Oh, no. Okay. I'm going to show you the bottom of a hobnob. That's the bottom. Now, I left these in for 12 minutes. These that I'm making now, I'm going to leave in for 10 minutes to see how they do. But I like them nice and crispy. But what you do is you melt chocolate, brush it on nice and thick, turn them upside down on a bake it on a rack, let the chocolate dry. Chocolate hobnobs are delicious. Or you can just, like my grandson Reese and I do, we get the hobnob, we get the melted chocolate, we go dib like that, in and out. We get chocolates all over our fingers, which is a really good excuse to use. I think frosting would be not so good. They're not terribly sweet. Chris, what would you say about them?
They're just perfect because if you just want something just a little bit sweet, there's enough there, but it's not overwhelming
They're
in
not
any sense.
totally sweet, but why would you frost them when you can put chocolate on anyway? That would be my. Okay. Do we have any other questions or comments? Do you like this show, everybody?
They're saying brilliant and ha 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 and laugh out loud and sounds yummy. Enjoy.
They really are. They're nice to dunk. Those of you who are not British won't probably know what dunking means. You know what dunking means?
Yeah, it means completely enclosing in whatever you're.
No.
Really? If you dunked yourself in the pool, you wouldn't just submerge?
You get a nice cup of tea or a nice cup of coffee.
Oh, that kind. Okay.
And you get your cookie, biscuit, we call them biscuits, and dip it in and out. They slightly soften. They're delicious. I wouldn't do it because I'm not a dunker. I don't like dunking under any circumstances. So,
tell the basketball story talking about dunking. Do you remember you went to a basketball game? You were invited to courtside seats.
Oh,
do you remember that? That would be a good story. Maybe that's for another Saturday.
Yes. You mean with the Magics?
Yes.
In Orlando, the Magics. Yes, I made a spectacle of myself. And absolutely, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
one story time. I'll tell you the story. Cachorro is doing okay. He's still very sore. He's very sleepy. He had a pain pill about an hour ago, so I can't even show. I'm not going to disturb him. But I do want to thank all of you very, very much for all of your prayers and all of your thoughts and all of the healing that everybody sent to him. I really would like to say thank you for that. And I'll keep you updated on his progress because he's not out of the woods yet. So we got another 2 weeks to see how he's doing and so on. But Chris and I are giving him healing on a constant basis. Any other questions or comments before we?
Should you make the comment about what the tech at the vet said about how the tooth came out like butter? No.
I'm eating.
Well, I'm just thinking that it was all about the healing.
Well, it was all about the healing. It was. It did really, really well, but the surgery was very, very long. So, and you know, a 14-year-old, you don't know how they're going to take the anesthetic and so on. Anyway, back to my hobnobs because I'm going to have another one in a minute with a nice drink of something. Any other comments or questions, Chris?
Gray Eagle must like all the yummy vibes.
Yes.
Have a lovely day, everyone. I'm off now. I have an appointment.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me, everybody. And enjoy your hobnobs because Chris and I are definitely going to do that. And remember, 10 minutes, take a look. If they're nice, look nice and brown, take them out. If they're not, just leave them in another minute or so and try them with chocolate. You'll love it. I'm going back to finishing the ones that I've got now on the tray and getting rid of this dough that I've got so we can have a batch for our holidays. Thanksgiving's coming up. Enjoy Thanksgiving, everybody. All of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, please enjoy. And don't forget you can freeze these as well. These just came out of the freezer and they're just delish. So, so enjoy the Thanksgiving, enjoy your holidays, and we'll be back very soon in Rosemary's Kitchen with more delicious goodies.